congratulations to Ryan Coogler and the people and the cast that made Sinners. It is now the 6th horror film in history to reach $200 million worldwide. The 6th. It's only been 6 films in Hollywood history that ever reached $200 million worldwide. That needs to be applauded, man, especially for a black produced, directed, and written film. That has to be applauded. They was trying to really tear that film down when it first came out, trying to say that even though it's successful, it didn't make, their budget back and all this stuff. And it had only been back. It had only been out maybe two days, and they talking about it didn't make its budget back. They don't do that shit with other films, especially other white films. They don't do that shit. As a matter of fact, comedian Ben Stiller called them out on that shit because he loved the film. Tom Cruise thought the film was great, but Ben Stiller came out and said, y'all don't do this with other films. Why y'all got to point out that it didn't make his budget back? Y'all have never done that with any other films. And we know why, because it was a black written, black directed, black produced film. Even though it was backed, executive produced, and distributed by a white company, Warner Brothers, they still didn't want to give the brother Ryan Coogler his props. The film is good. I won't say it's great. I think that's putting too much on it, but the film is really good, and it had me at the edge of my seat, which I haven't been to the theaters. It got me back in the theaters, and which says something because I haven't been to the theaters in years. So the fact that Ryan Coogler got me to the point where I couldn't wait to see this film. I had to see it in theaters when I could have just waited it out maybe a month or so and could have saw it on screen, which I don't know. I think this film is going to be in theaters longer if they can make money off of it. Matter of fact, they're talking about re-releasing it on the 15th, which is in a couple days. They want to re-release it in IMAX theaters only, which the film is still in theaters on regular size, film, because it was shot on 70D, which is IMAX format. But you can still go see it at, your local theater in standard format, standard size. But the film was shot for you to see it on a bigger format, which is just another attempt for them to try to get people back into the theaters. They make the sound grander and they make everything more bigger, the screen bigger, so that'll give you a reason to come back to the theaters and also pay an extra $10. Because IMAX is not cheap. IMAX is very expensive. It's like an extra $10 on top of the extra $15 on top of the $10 admission fee that you're gonna pay to go to a theater. So you're looking at $25. But I'm thinking about going to see it on IMAX. I really want to see it because I've always seen the movie on standard size because I didn't know that he shot it on IMAX. So I think after the first time I saw it, I watched a couple of documentaries. He talked about how he shot it purposely on IMAX film. And I was like, oh shit, I forgot that he shot it I should have went and saw it on IMAX. But the second time I went to go see it, I ended up taking somebody with me, so I didn't want to pay the extra $20. You know what I'm saying? I was being cheap. I could have went and spent the extra $20, but I didn't. But that's dope though, man. The 6th highest grossing horror film is Sinners. It's a black film, which is, I think that's phenomenal. Ryan Coogler is about to get a lot. I'm pretty sure he probably got offers out the wazoo already. Now I believe he already has like a 3 or 4 picture deal with Warner Brothers. But I was thinking though, a lot of white folks have been hating on this film. A lot of white folks have been hating on this movie. I would have to say not just white folks, people in general. And I thought to myself, if Quentin Tarantino or Robert Rodriguez made this film, would it receive as much hate as it's been getting in the media lately? I would say no. Because it's a black produced, directed, written film, I think that's why it's getting so much hate, because it's being so successful. Just hating. I think it's just all about jealousy, hating. They just hate this. As much shine that these folks get out of, when they drop their films and nobody complains, we get one hit after years, and we the boogeyman. Don't nobody want to support it. People saying that Sinners, a lot of white folks have been saying that Sinners is horrible, which is not. And another reason I think people don't like it, to be really honest with you, another reason I think people don't like it is because of, I believe, now this is a spoiler alert, so if anybody hasn't seen it, y'all might want to click off this video till you go see it. But the last part of the movie was a part where Michael B. Jordan's character takes out, he shoots all these white racist men with a machine gun, like all these Klansmen that were coming to harm black people. But Michael B. Jordan got the drop on him, and he took out a whole Klan with a machine gun and a hand grenade, blew their asses up. And something about that, white people don't like to see us fighting them back. That scares them, even if it's a fictional movie. You know, that us fighting them back is something about that spooks them for some reason. Although they're mighty fine watching a movie like The Butler or The Help, where we can, called N-word all through the film, serving them and getting beat up by the police and stuff like that. They'll watch those movies all day long because it takes them back to, matter of fact, The Help, when it came out, that movie was getting all kind of accolades and all kind of shit. And Viola Davis, who played a really good part in that movie, she was very docile and kind of, humble. Her son got taken out by the Klan and stuff. So they like for us to be solid and just getting our ass whooped by them and getting called the N-word. They love movies like that with us like that. Anything where we fighting back or taking their ass out, they don't want to watch shit like that. They think it's a horrible movie. But I think that probably has a lot to do with it, is that ending scene. And on top of that, it's written, directed, and produced by a black man, which is odd to me because Quentin Tarantino did the Django, and he was shooting white people left and right. Jamie Foxx was shooting white folks left and right in that movie. And white folks think that the Django is the best movie since sliced bread. But it was written and directed by a white man. See, they'll watch that type of shit with black people fighting back if a white person is fully behind the movie. Anything Quentin Tarantino, Spielberg make, Lucas make, Martin Scorsese makes, they are all for it. Yeah, I guarantee you, if John Singleton or Spike Lee would have directed the Django, they would have thought the Django was the worst film ever made. Just like how they saying this the whole thing about Sinners. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's not all that great. The movie's horrible. Oh my God, white people think this movie is so phenomenal. Let Spielberg would have been behind the shit. They'd have thought that movie was the greatest movie ever told. And a lot of their movies, they be nominating for Oscars, and they think so good. I'll go back and watch some of these white made films, and I'll think to myself, why did they think this shit was so dope? This shit is so boring and bland, and it'll get all these Golden Globe nominations and Oscar nods. Like, this shit is bullshit. This shit is boring as hell. But they produced it, so they think it's just phenomenal. Oh my God, it's a genius. Like that Arkenheimer or Barbenheimer, the one about the guy who made the atom bomb. Nigga, that shit was so boring. That film was so, Christopher Nolan directed. That movie was so boring, dog. It was like sending a long ass lecture. That movie was boring. But white folks was thinking that movie was just, oh my God, it's visually, it's just, oh my God, the writing and the directing was, oh my God, Christopher Nolan's a freaking cinema genius. I'm like, this movie is boring. This movie is bored as hell. They'll watch that shit and think it's the best thing since sliced bread, but then see Sinners, which that movie was from start to finish. I would say it had a little slow parts in it, but it was from start to finish. It was a very interesting film that had a lot of hidden gems in it as well. You know what I'm saying? Another reason I think a lot of these white folks is hating on this movie though is because the love scene between she's not a new actress. She's been around for a while. Haley Seinfeld. I thought she might have been the daughter to Jerry Seinfeld because he's the only other famous Seinfeld. But apparently they have no relation. But the Haley Seinfeld, that's a pretty ass white girl. That's a pretty white girl. And she's slobbing down Michael B. Jordan in the movie. So that may be something that has something to do with it too. See what I'm saying? They'll do a movie with Billy Bob Thornton, Humpty Dumpty ass, hopping on our beautiful queens like Halle Berry, and they'll give him an Oscar nod. They don't like for us. Now, if Michael B. Jordan was tonguing down Melissa McCartney or Roseanne Barr or some less attractive looking white woman, they'd have been all for it. But being that he was slobbing down a fine ass, cute young white girl, that's another reason I think they ain't like that movie. They don't like for us to get the girl, especially the fine girl. They want to be the one to get the girl and get all the women and stuff like that in the movies and save the day. So that's another reason why I think they didn't like the movie. At the end, the black man was the hero pretty much at the end too as well. Unless Marvel or then the Disney behind it, like Black Panther, then they'll jump on board. But for the most part, in the original story where we win, they don't like that shit. That's why they end up shutting down Nate Parker. You know, Nate Parker made Birth of a Nation, where he was taking, where he had, which was about the slave rebellion. Black folks fighting back. They don't want to see that. That scares white people. They like to see us getting lynched and getting, done in and all that kind of stuff. And they'll watch that all day long. But we fighting back, nah, they don't want to watch that. That's why they thought 12 Years a Slave was so phenomenal. Because it was a white man that pretty much saved the brother, and then pretty much throughout the whole movie, white folks is laying black folks out in 12 Years a Slave. See, that's why that movie got all kind of Oscar nods and, oh my God, it's so phenomenal. And just the beatings were so graphic and so immersed. They like that shit. That's like porn to them. They like to see our ass get whooped by them. But us busting back at the ass, like Michael B. Jordan did in Sinners, they don't want to see that shit. They want to be on top of all races of men, unfortunately. Anyway, y'all, what y'all think about this, man? Leave your comments and subscribe to the channel. Shout out to Sinners, man. Congratulations, man. Subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I need some money. Y'all hit my Cash App up. $ Charles Arnez, CharlesArnes. I'll put it at the bottom. Y'all can go ahead and break a brother off, man, so I can make more of these videos. Holler at y'all later. You know, son, who the police done murdered now? Shit. The American League. What done happened now? I'm over here on this off of Crenshaw by the Popeyes on 48th and Crenshaw. Something done happened over here. They got the helicopter out here and everything. I don't know what's going on, but something done went down. I don't know. And then that thing, that fire truck in. Something happened because they got the helicopters out here. The helicopter right there. I wonder what happened. Who the American police done murdered and shot somebody? They are. Motherfuckers can't help you when you get in the jam, but you get in some serious shit. Police come scratching the head. They sure enough know how to come shoot you though. I wonder what happened. They can do that good. Shit. Can't protect or serve for shit, but can come and blow your damn brains out. I don't know. What y'all think happened? So apparently, Tory Lanez got attacked in prison this morning. He was rushed to a nearby hospital near the correctional facility in California in Bakersfield. They said that there was no reasonable motivation for the attack as of yet. Of course, investigation is still pending. Tory Lanez, the singer and rapper who was sent to prison with the whole Megan Thee Stallion situation, they gave him 10 years. I didn't realize they gave him 10 years in prison, but he got 10 years, and apparently he got stabbed this morning. There's no details yet of how severe it is, but apparently they say he's going to pull through. But of course, Tory Lanez and his legal team have been filing appeal after appeal trying to get him out of prison since the whole conviction. Damn, I thought he got 5 years. They gave him 10 years for that shit? Damn. He didn't have too many good lawyers. They could at least got him like a 5-year sentence. But I think once he gets out, I think he's going to be deported to Canada. I think that's where he's from. He's Canadian. So I think once you commit a felony here, you're not allowed back in the United States, right? If that's true, or am I just pulling that out my ass? I thought I heard somewhere that if you a foreigner and you here, you're not here, like you here working on like a green card, but you're not legally a American citizen. That if you commit a crime, like a gun crime, that you can be deported and you can't ever come back into the United States. I don't know whether that's true. If that's true, let me know. I mean, I heard I thought I heard, I don't read, which I need to read more of the laws and all that shit, which I always think that's bullshit anyway, because they twist and turn these laws as they see fit anyway. So no matter how right you are, you know these laws, they'll, switch the shit. They'll switch the shit around, especially with black folks in the judicial system. But yeah, I hope it ain't too bad. I'm hearing that it wasn't life threatening, but he did get stabbed severely. So I wish that brother well, and he recovers with full recovery. Well wishes to him. Sad he got to go through this. You go from being you just on top of the world. You on the charts. You're hanging out with these fine female rappers at pool parties, and then you turn around and do something crazy, and now you in here getting stabbed in prison. When you was living the life of Riley, you was flying around on private jets and doing shows, and like I said, from what I heard, he was messing with both of them. And when I say both of them, it was Megan Thee Stallion and her best friend. He was hitting, and both of them was shoot. They fine. They was some nice looking. Come on now, Megan Thee Stallion and her homegirl was fine too. He was knocking both of them off. What made you so mad? You felt like you had to shoot him. Shoot Megan. If a woman gets you that mad, you need to get away from her, not shoot her. If you thinking about shooting, I'm about to shoot her ass. If that even hits your head, your brain, you thinking, you know what? I'm thinking about killing this broad or shooting her ass. I ain't, what am I doing? What am I doing? Let me exit this relationship. This ain't gonna end well. You know what I'm saying? If I'm thinking about shooting her, if you contemplating shooting the woman that you messing with, it's pretty much safe to say that the relationship pretty much has ran its course. But it's just why you got to think before you do something crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? Just like that, a split second decision, and look what happened to him. I mean, it's not like you was like working at Target, like, you know what I'm saying? You did this, like you actually had a career. Not saying to anybody, looking down at people that work at Target. Let's just be real. Motherfuckers who work at Target don't want to work at Target. They're doing it because they got to work at Target. So the fact I'm trying to make is this: he was on top of the world and he messed his life up just not thinking things through and acting on emotion. Plus, when I heard Tory Lanez is short, Tory Lanez is short, and a lot of times short men get tried by tall women. And Megan Thee Stallion is tall. She's taller than me. I think they say Megan Thee Stallion is like what, 6'1"? So she's a tall vixen. She probably was like, oh, your little ass ain't gonna do shit, nigga. This is a homegirl back there probably laughing, geeking her up. Because tall women try short men because they're short. And one thing I learned about short men will pop your ass. Look at the statistics. They said that most people that's on death row or deleting somebody are mostly men under 5'11". They're short. They're under average height. That's why I don't mess with short men. Short men they'll pop your ass. And a lot of times, the reason why I think they pop you, I think that a lot of times I think they get scared, because especially when you're bigger than them, you coming at them, they freak out. So maybe Megan Thee Stallion was coming at Tory Lanez. He feel, oh shit, I gotta defend. I have to defend. I'm short. This big old giant woman coming at me. I gotta defend myself. You know what I'm saying? I just hate the fact that he got to start from the bottom. That, you know what I'm saying? That just sucks. You gotta you fighting with fools in prison and getting stabbed, and like, like, who knows if he even gonna have a career when he get out. I mean, I barely knew who Tory Lanez was until this whole situation happened with him and Megan Thee Stallion. I think that was more bigger than a lot of people knew about his music. I was like, Tory Lanez, what song he got out? You know what I'm saying? You barely can remember him now than you 10 years from now. And they probably gonna make that brother do all that whole 10 years. And then as soon as he do it, he got to go all the way back. He got to go back to Canada. Just sucks, man, all the way around. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, what y'all think about this video, man? Leave your comments. Subscribe to the channel. Let's talk about it in the comments.